from a level of awareness, from that heightened level of awareness, so that now you understand everything for what it is worth. Maybe in the past you were attaching too much importance to it. Enjoy the same stuff, but with less attachment from a degree of awareness. Believe me, you can enjoy things even more because now I'm not clinging to them. As a solid platform, to never let you slip down to the abyss, to the pit of suffering anymore. Yet it may be difficult to maintain the posture that you permanently stay in fundamental happiness. This level, one notch below fundamental happiness, is a beautiful place to live in, to dwell. I have written some chapters here, like the spiritual youth, the spiritual CEO. I did not have to give up my job or to give up my role as a CEO. If anything, I think dwelling at that level, one notch below fundamental happiness, I think I've been able to do better as a CEO. Of course, this is something my colleagues and others will judge. I mean, I'm the last person to talk about myself. It's for them to say whether what I'm saying is correct or not. This, in short, ladies and gentlemen, is what prompted me to write this book. Well, I don't know whether it makes sense. Are you happy? I don't know. It's for you to tell me.
Well, I'm sure everybody is very, very happy about the fact that you've written a book, and a book that you so strongly feel about, a topic that you so strongly feel about. Well, we move on to Rajat now. Rajat, it could be quite a subjective question when we ask somebody what makes them really happy, or what would they define as their ideal form of happiness. But if you could tell us a little bit about your association with happiness.
You know, I also started my spiritual journey very young. When I was 10 or 12, like Deepak, I asked my father, well, you know, this is my hand, I can see my nose, I can see my face, but where am I? My father slapped me. He said, go finish your homework. So my early start to spiritual journey was, there was a setback to that. I have a basic point of difference. Deepak's hypothesis is that the fundamental state of human beings is of misery or dukh. I believe that our fundamental state is of happiness, and that we forget that, we don't tend to that. We get involved with attachments and things, and we forget the fact that we are here to be happy. So that's a big difference. So I think, for example, in Zen, they believe that the basic nature is of calm and happiness. And how are you going to go about discovering that basic nature, innate nature that you were given? For me, to be happy is very easy. I have very few needs. That is one. So I'm never looking for anything. I think for me, what has worked is that that I have never worked in my life. My work is play. This is what I'm passionate about. This is what I enjoy doing. So whether I'm shooting, when I'm making a film, I'm doing a play, I'm writing my new script, I am on a high. So for me, it's a constant high. And I don't do drugs and I don't do alcohol, but I'm on a constant high. So I think for me, it's easy to find my happiness.
Thank you, Rajat. Well, coming back to you, Mr. Deepak, we had
come to that. I fully agree with Rajat. You know, if you have so few needs in life, then you can adopt a posture that anything, drag ourselves to work and think when the next holiday is going to come. I think you are hugely lucky there. Coming to your other idea that when you say nothingness, one of the simple exercises that I mentioned in this book, Rajat, is when we look at stuff, when we gaze at things, you know, like let's say we are in this hall, you'll notice so many things of growth and hints of moving up. As you move up, you sense the tentativeness of human existence, the mundaneness, the dullness and all that. It is not comfortable, so we happily pull ourselves down. And what helps us to pull ourselves down is a security blanket. And the security blanket consists of distractions, blaming others, denials. attachments to 1,000 things, romantic love and all that. And it keeps us down, which is why this is the security blanket and we are comfortably here at the normal level. But some of us, the sensitive kind, they go beyond that. They are not fooled by all this. To borrow a phrase from Soren Kierkegaard, the Danish philosopher,
Then about what happiness really is. Do you think in today's time and age where we're so competitive, firstly, pressed for time, do we equate, how far or to what extent do we equate pure happiness to what would I say, financial gain?
No, I don't know if it is a question of our times. I don't think human beings have changed that much. 100 years back, the same questions were asked. 50 years back also, I think people must have said, oh my God, life is so fast now. We have no time for meditation or to think about ourselves. And now also with the social media encroaching upon you, with your mobile phones in your hand all the time, maybe time is running out, but these are essential things. Finally, you need to sleep for 8 hours or 7 hours every day. That you can't escape. It's similarly what you do with your inner life. You can't escape that. So finally, you have to confront it. You might have, like Deepak also has mentioned in the book, that we confuse happiness with other things, with success, with money, with romantic love or whatever. You think this is happiness. But I think true happiness is when you accept everything around you, first of all, and you accept yourself. And this is me, and my happiness has to come from within, and not from what I gain.
Thank you, Rajan. So we'd like to know your take on it. One man's happiness could be